As a person who makes unsolicited commentary videos about situations within various art communities ranging from TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter, you would automatically assume that I should know better than to use AI to make art and even post it on the same channel that I share these unsolicited commentary videos with my beautiful 600,000 subscribers. And by the way, please subscribe if you haven't, my good sir and ma'am. But alas, trying times we live in, and one cannot assume to understand what people are thinking in their deep minds. Because why will I post a drawing under my community tab and some of the comments are like, did you use AI? The foot looks disconnected from the rest of the leg and the hands look off, specifically the pinky on the left hand and pretty much all of the right hand. I'm an artist and that hand and the way a finger is just sticking out of the middle of it really throws me off, because it's not the type of finger mistake most artists make, and he's not even a beginner. Also, the way the foot is totally disconnected to the rest of the leg is also weird. However, it's very stylized, so that makes me not 100% sure it's AI. I think there's a possibility they made this with AI to see how many commenters caught on, so he could make a video on it or something. I don't know you or your work. I also don't want to accuse you of something, but the little finger looks like AI is struggling with hands again. Is this AI? The foot doesn't connect at all and the shading is very different to your other works. Putting your own art style into ChatGPT isn't any better. What am I reading? Putting my own art into ChatGPT to make a drawing to post on my community tab that isn't even serious? I mean, 10 points to Hufflepuff since they figured I would probably turn this into a YouTube video. Oh, you darn right I am. You bet your horses I am.
Alright, listen here, Buster. No more Mr. Nice Guy. You don't want to see me angry. You're on thin ice, bucko. Why, I oughta. Hey, what's that sound?
Now, I understand some people who stumbled on this drawing may or may not have seen my art before and were possibly stumbling across my community post for the first time, because people who have been following me for a while now are quite aware that I routinely post my drawings under my community tab instead of posting on Instagram because I haven't been active on there. But I also managed to create a spanking brand new account just so I can post all these drawings on there, because a lot of you have been asking me where I post my drawings. The name of the account is Tubby with 2 Y's on Instagram, so make sure you go follow me on there if you want to see more of my drawings. But I'm also sharing some art on my Discord server and on Twitter as well, so you can join the Discord and follow me on Twitter, I guess. Now, according to the comments under this post, I have been accused of using AI, and apparently I'm under trial for feeding my art into an AI generator just so I could create fake art and share it with my audience, which just sounds pretty foolish, because why will I struggle for years learning how to draw and I'm still struggling learning how to draw now, only for me to feed my art into an AI to make art for me to share with you guys? That doesn't make any sense. But I still stand accused of using AI art, and since I cannot defend myself in a trial by combat, and also because this blatant accusation is happening on the internet, let's do something much less violently inclined, which is examining the evidence and arguments presented by the prosecutors in the comment section. Accusation number 1. The little fingers look like AI. Because of the way the little fingers are parting from the hands is triggering the prosecutors into assuming this was made with AI. And that's because AI generators always have a problem when it comes to them drawing hands. And whenever they do draw hands, it always just looks disjointed for some reason, or the hands end up having extra fingers and more bones. In my own defense, I purposely like to draw 1 or 2 fingers separated from the rest, and I can't exactly explain why I like doing it, but it's just something I've been doing for the longest time ever. And I have also posted drawings on my community tab which also have hands that look like this. Some of them are not exactly in the same position, but you can still see one finger or a few breakouts from the regular shapes. I'll say I usually do this in my work when drawing hands because I like to play with big shapes and small shapes and have a balance between both shapes, which could be a small finger and the rest of the hand being the bigger shape. And another artist that inspired me to start drawing hands like this is is Loish. Loish usually draws the same way when she draws hands. A finger is usually parted from the rest because it flows with the pose of the hand better, and the shapes read in a rather pleasing way. Ethan Becker literally has a video talking about this from a while back and explains it in a much more better way for people to understand.
Why the foe? Why the foe, baby? Why the foe? When in doubty, one finger outy, baby. That's what it's all coming down to. You go check out your favorite artists online and see how much they do this. This happens all the time in anime. This happens all the time in Instagram art. Look how she's simplifying these shapes in all of these hands. If you're looking at this image, this finger appears like it's popping out, but it's actually not breaking the the silhouette. Speaking of. Alright, it's still when in doubty, one finger outy. She's still doing it. It appears like a full hand. Very important to go through and break these down and to see how she breaks the silhouette. Yet again, when in doubty, one finger outy, baby. Alright, at this point, let's go and break down what exactly she's doing. Again, she doesn't really know how to draw hands, obviously, but we can still learn from her. We can always still learn from a freedom hater. Okay, so it looks like, whoa, look at all of these. Look at all these waves and all these fingers, and wow, it looks wrong. Forget all that. We're gonna break down the major shape here. What is the major shape? It's starting right here, and it's kind of looping around here, making a little mitten, and boom, gets stuck right there, bringing it back. All the other details you can save for last. This is an industry secret, and she's gonna be so upset with me. All right, so if you put it that way, I can see why she hates freedom. All right, so once you make this overall mitten, I need a word for it, like a, all right, let's just call it the three-fingered mitten. Once you make the three-fingered mitten here, you're gonna carve out the stuff that you don't need. Where does she carve out? She carves out right here. She carves out a little bit right there. At this point, you can go in and do the details if you want, but it's the overall shape that matters. When in doubty, one finger outy. When in...
Now, is this the right way or anatomically correct way of drawing hands? Probably not, but I'm not trying to be anatomically correct and draw everything exactly the way it is in reality, because that's just how it works. I enjoy stylized drawings that capture the feeling and shapes of the pose, and that is what I tend to do in my work as well. Will it look wrong in some instances? Yes. Do I feel bad about it? Oh, fuck no. Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit. Accusation number 2. This is AI because the foot looks disconnected from the body. This one is a tricky one because in the reference photo, the model posed in a way where her hands were covering her shins and her calves, which automatically makes it look like the foot was cut off from the rest of the leg. And I also had this in mind when I decided to make this image. And in fact, when I made this image the first time, the foot was too long because I was trying to be as accurate as the reference photo, and it just looked wrong and a tad bit too long every time I looked at it. So in the end, what I did was I shortened the length of the entire leg, then I made a little part of the shin show underneath one of the hands, but then I put it in shadow so you wouldn't really see it unless you looked closely and were carefully dissecting the image, looking for mistakes and whatnot. And still on the topic of legs, another thing I noticed in the drawing which I could have changed or improved on now that I'm looking at it is the leg right here. It looks shorter and much smaller than the other one because the thighs are not in proportion with the other one. So now looking back, I should have made it longer and probably as full as the other leg. But one thing I'm really proud of is how I made the feet. I think I was able to simplify the shape and make it look really solid, and the shading was just the icing on the cake for the footsie enjoyers. Accusation number 3. This drawing looks different from your other drawings because you used AI. Apparently, this drawing looks different from this, and this because for some reason the art style is different. I don't get it. If we look closely at other faces and this one, the underlying drawings all look rather similar, if I do say so myself. They all look the same, as if they were made by the same person. One thing I'll say that looks different is this one doesn't have strong hard shadows because the model in the reference photo is sitting under a soft light source, so most of the shadows look softer with very limited hard shadows, which in fact is called, I know some of you don't know this, but ambient lighting, which is why I'm assuming the AI prosecutors are accusing me of using AI because the drawing looks different. Apparently it's too smooth and every other accusation under the sun. But I didn't do it. I did not use AI to draw this image, and I wish that I had. Reading your vicious claims of me using AI to make art gave me more relief than 1,000 lying whores. I wish I was the monster you think I am. I wish I had enough AI art for the whole pack of you. I will gladly give my life to watch you all look at it. And I know I'll get no justice here, so I will let you watch this video to decide my fate. Mohammed Lannister. I'm never doing that again. Well, I don't have video evidence to prove my innocence to you, but I have something even better. The PSD file. So this is the image that got me accused of using AI. And as we can see here, I have two versions. This is the long one, and this is the one I posted. So let's go ahead and turn off all the layers so everything is clear and we can see where I started from. This, a basic sketch. Simple, nothing crazy. And then after that, I cleaned up the sketch, and then I made the selection, painted in some flat grayscale colors and some subtle variations on the skin, and then some shadows. And after that, I painted in a little details, made some slight adjustments, and added in that little shadow here, and voila, that's literally it. Like, this isn't a complicated image. Like, why would I waste my time putting my drawing in AI just so I can make something like this is easy. This is just drawing off a reference. It's not even hard. This whole situation with AI art and artists getting accused of using AI at the slightest instance is genuinely getting insane. But to be honest, you really can't blame people for assuming a drawing is AI, because numerous so-called artists have posted drawings people automatically assumed were made by an artist, but then turned out to have been either made with AI or even made by tracing over AI as a way to escape the accusations. Take this popular Hatsune Miku drawing for instance. The artist posted this on TikTok and it got so many views on the platform, and a lot of people enjoyed the drawing and praised the artist for their sheer skills of making art. That is until another TikTok user called them out when they posted this video. According to the person who posted the video, the artist had lied of making the drawing themselves when in fact they had used AI and traced it. And after this video was posted, they immediately tried to block the person who made the call out video while lying to their audience that they had made the drawing themselves. A lot of people in the comments were disappointed in the artist for lying to them about the drawing, and while the artist posted a video to prove their innocence and tried to save face, the video was immediately debunked as fake, as both images were still obvious traces of an AI image found on Twitter. The artist then had to post an apology video and try to clear their name from all the mess that had happened, but their name was already in shambles after the whole situation went viral on TikTok. Another quote-unquote artist was found to have been using AI for the longest time ever after they had posted several drawings in the style of another artist, which was then making everyone to think they were making the art themselves. They were eventually called out for using AI to generate their images, and everyone on Twitter who genuinely liked their drawings all felt disappointed after the big reveal. Now, these are not the only fake artists who have been called out for using AI to generate their work. Many other fake accounts have all been generating art and deceiving people into thinking they are actual drawings, while growing their fake accounts to reach massive amounts of following. And this is all just very awful, because on one hand they think what they're doing is fine and it's not hurting anyone in the process, but on the other hand they're making it hard for other artists who are genuinely trying to post their art on social media. They can't even do so without being accused of using AI and then having to start defending themselves against the mob of people leaving comments under their art. Like this artist for instance, senior concept artist and streamer Chainsaw Roll with over 40,000 followers on Twitter made a post addressing the AI accusations they had received under the post of some of their drawings. According to the comments, they were accusing them them of using AI and were so sure that Chainsaw used AI and was a fake artist because apparently a thumb was missing in the drawing, leaving only 4 fingers. So even though the artist had shown their workspace and a work in progress of one of their drawings, they were definitely lying and had been using AI to deceive people, allegedly. The accusers also claimed the post was entirely wrong and awkward, and then proceeded to demand a time-lapse process of the drawing from the artist before they would even begin to believe, like Neo unplugging from the Matrix, that what they were looking at before them was indeed real. Chainsaw cleared the accusations, putting the little baby commenters to bed and tucking them in nicely, saying, "Stop accusing me of using AI. I stream and I show my creative process. I paint in acrylics and oil, and I draw in graphite and ballpoint pen. You need to do research before accusing someone. Put Chainsaw Roll Art on Google and you can see all of my social media and history. My art is even fed to Midjourney and all of those programs. It's not fair to spread these rumors. Every time I post my art, someone has to accuse me of using AI." People who had been following Chainsaw for a while and knew of their work came to the comments to show their support and started calling out the people accusing Chainsaw of using AI, telling them that Chainsaw's art had no resemblance to AI at all, and they had already been making amazing spectacular art before AI models started to quote-unquote improve. Some even left heartwarming comments for Chainsaw saying, "I feel sorry for you. I have been seriously considering putting a no AI logo on my art or showing the process differently. Even with proof, these people are so AI brain-rotted that they prefer the drama over believing you painted it yourself. AI prompters use your art so much that now your art is associated with AI. Plus your art is so stunning. I'm so sorry that you are a victim of AI." And if you thought that situation was rather infuriating, how about another artist who got accused on Twitter because their art process was a little too complex for the simpletons to understand? So they just automatically resorted to accusing them of using AI. Artist Cloak of Wit, who's insanely talented at making pixel art. Like, I literally haven't seen this level of detail in pixel art before in my entire life. And just the thought of them sitting down for hours to paint this and then deciding to try to animate it is mind-boggling to me. Well, other people apparently didn't share my bewilderment and accused them of using AI because they were adding colors that will later appear in the background without even having painted the background in the first place. Which is a rather silly accusation because any artist who has painted characters for long enough can tell where the lighting on their character is coming from without having to have painted the background or the color before. The person who made the call out post was immediately bombarded with people defending the artist and attacking them for how stupid and baseless their accusation was, and telling them the artist didn't need to post a work in progress just because they don't believe them. They then had to make an apology just so they could stop the amount of backlash they were receiving for their post, and that wasn't even in their favor either. I have made an awful mistake accusing Cloak of Wit for using generative art in their art making process. My post gained 20,000 views and nearly 6,000 likes, and I will do anything in my power to fix my wrongs. Peace literally took my breath away, and I commented my positive thoughts. I was later contacted by people who suspected the piece was done with the help of AI. This skewed and soured my perspective on the piece, and the artist and I said some very nasty things. I acted too quickly, rashly, and without enough information. After contacting the artist and speaking with them, I realized that they were a natural talent and that I have made an unforgivable error. I am very sorry, Cloak of Wit. I am on my hands and knees begging for your forgiveness. Please, master, please forgive me. Well, I'm glad they were able to take accountability for their mistake, and even after making jokes and trying to lighten the situation, some people still felt what they did was entirely wrong, especially since they were artists themselves and clearly should have known better than to call out another artist without concrete evidence, or even just jump to conclusions and accuse them of using AI when they were only just guessing. Now, I know know this doesn't mean there aren't people out there who use AI to generate drawings and then claim they made the drawings themselves, but some of us still like the pain and suffering that comes from struggling to make your own drawings yourself. Struggling through the ugly phase and eventually making a drawing you're proud of for 2 minutes till you blink and then start hating everything you've drawn in your entire life is literally the life every artist has signed up for. And now all these AI artists and AI art posters are making it so hard for you to just make art you enjoy and post it on the internet without someone accusing you of using AI. Now, before you make that comment accusing an artist of using AI, at least take the time to look at other of their drawings to see if they actually have made posts of them drawing or if they have made videos as well. Don't just jump into conclusions because something doesn't look right or looks slightly different or isn't anatomically correct down to the letter and then base all your evidence around those claims. At least give artists the benefit of doubt. But if it eventually turns out they were using AI, then I guess you were right all along and you can die happy now. Well, it looks like you've made it to the end of this video. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like, share the video with a friend, and subscribe to the channel if you are new here. With all that being said, I'll see all you pretty penguins in the next video. Bye.